video I'm going to demonstrate how to install a kickstand on a bicycle. So there are basically three different common styles of kickstands which you can put on a bicycle. The most common style is a kind that goes down here and it mounts below where the bottom bracket is down in this area here. Personally, this is my least favorite. I find these really inconvenient because when you have the kickstand down and if you try to move your bike or something and the cranks move backwards, then your crank gets wedged up against your kickstand and it's a real pain to try and get it unwedged again. The kind which I prefer look like this, and they mount back here way far behind where the cranks are, back here near where the wheel attaches, and they usually use this wheel nut here to attach. In most situations, this is the type of kickstand that I'd recommend putting on a bike. However, they don't always fit on all bikes that are made. For example, if you've got an aluminum frame, it might have a little bit more structure in this section here, and it won't allow this piece to fit in there properly. In my situation, I have a trailer hitch on this bike because I occasionally pull a trailer with the bike, and it makes it impossible to have both this trailer hitch on there as well as the kickstand. Thankfully, there's this third style of kickstand which you can use, which will mount right to the frame there, and it won't interfere with that nut, and it should fit on most other bikes. Even if they're aluminum, they have a lot of structure there. So there's essentially three different parts to this kind of kickstand, and this one's made by a company called Greenfield. So there's this part here, which is the actual kickstand itself, and it bolts to two brackets which attach to the actual frame. So there's this part of the bracket, which you can see it has this curved section right here. That part goes up against the frame, and then there's this other half which gets pushed against the other side, and you're essentially clamping that piece of the frame inside of there, and then at the back you've got that other piece of frame which goes up in this direction, and it gets clamped in there as well by pulling these two brackets together. So to start the installation, we're going to start by mounting the brackets to the frame here, and in order to get a tight connection up against this part of the frame here, the kit comes with these little plastic sleeves which you can put over here, and then when you tighten it on by clamping down the bolts, basically this thing gets compressed and it gets pushed in. Personally, I prefer using something a little softer than this hard plastic that comes with it. What I use instead is just an old piece of inner tube. I'm going to cut a little strip of that, and then I'm going to tape it on there, and I'm going to use that as my sleeve, which is going to go on the bike. Alright, so by holding that up there, I can see where I want to put my piece of rubber, and you can see I've just cut this little slip of inner tube, and I've put a piece of electrical tape on the end of it in order to hold it down. So I want to install it approximately right there. So I'll just push my tape down and then wrap this around a few times. And then grabbing another piece of electrical tape, tape that on the end, and wrap that tightly. And now when I put that on there, it's going to be pushing up against rubber instead of metal against metal, so that should get a nice tight connection. Alright, I'm just going to do the same thing up here where it comes in contact with the frame as well. Now you'll notice that my frame is pretty rusty, so I personally don't care that much about it getting scratched or dented from having this kickstand on there, but I think a lot of people would care about that on their bike. So that's another advantage of using this rubber on there to help protect the frame and the finish of it. So there we go, like that. So the back side of the bracket has these 4 holes in it, and each hole is threaded, and the kit comes with 4 bolts which screw right into there, so you don't need to use any nuts. Basically all you do is you just put the two things together and then you tighten the bolts up. Alright, so we'll start just by putting this middle bolt in here, get things started. And I'm just going to start by putting in all these bolts very loosely, and then I'm gradually going to tighten each of them, because if we tighten one of them all the way, it'll be really hard to get the other ones in. So I'll start with try one of these bottom ones down here as well. Alright, now I'll try and get this one in up here. These bolts are a combination Phillips head flathead, so just a very standard flathead screwdriver or Phillips screwdriver. Alright, so now I've got all the bolts in there. I'm just going to progressively tighten each one bit by bit. And at the same time, make sure it's positioned correctly with where I put my rubber protectors on. Alright, so now I've got that bracket securely mounted on there. All that's left to do is to take the kickstand part of it and to just mount it down here in the section below there. And all you need to do that is this bolt which comes with it. It has an Allen head on it, and it also comes with this lock nut which is on there as well. And that just threads right into the bottom down here. And I can get a better shot of it with the bike upside down. So that just slides in there, and then this bolt goes in up there. It just threads right in, regular thread. And I'll just use my largest Allen key. Tighten that on there, and there you have it. Kickstand's installed, easy to use. It doesn't interfere with the cranks, and it also doesn't interfere with the nut of the back wheel. So this concludes my tutorial showing how to install a kickstand on a bicycle. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comment section below. Thanks for watching.